50 Hells Angels motorcycles thundered into Riverside at dawn to protect one terrified 13-year-old girl. What happened next will shatter everything you think you know about who the real heroes are. Emma Collins hadn't spoken a word in 3 weeks. The girl who once couldn't stop talking about astronomy and painting had become a shadow. Her mother, Lisa, found disturbing text messages on Emma's phone from someone who should never contact a child that way. When the school did nothing and police said their hands were tied, a desperate mother made one last plea for help online. She never imagined 50 leather-clad warriors would answer that call. Lisa Collins was watching her daughter disappear right in front of her eyes. Emma had always been the brightest light in their home. At 13 years old, she could name every constellation in the night sky and spent hours painting watercolors of imaginary worlds. But that girl was gone now. It started 3 months after Lisa's husband Marcus died in a construction accident. Emma threw herself into gymnastics, practicing 6 days a week at Riverside Athletic Center. Her coach, Mr. Derek Hamilton, seemed supportive at first. He told Lisa that Emma had real potential, that she could compete at state level if she worked hard enough. Then everything changed. Emma stopped eating dinner. She flinched when her phone buzzed. Lisa would find her daughter sitting in the dark at 4 in the morning, staring at nothing. The girl who once talked endlessly about her dreams had stopped speaking entirely about anything that mattered. Lisa tried everything. She asked gentle questions that Emma deflected with one-word answers. She scheduled therapy appointments that Emma attended but stayed silent through. She contacted the school counselor who said Emma seemed fine in class. But mothers know. Mothers always know when something is destroying their child from the inside. One night, Lisa heard Emma crying in the bathroom. She knocked softly on the door. "Sweetheart, please let me in." Emma opened the door. Her eyes were red and empty. "Mom, I can't do this anymore," she whispered. "Can't do what, baby?" Lisa asked, her heart breaking. "Everything. I just want it all to stop." Those words terrified Lisa more than anything in her life. The next morning, while Emma was at school, Lisa did something she'd never done before. She went through her daughter's phone. What she found made her physically sick. Text messages from Derek Hamilton. Dozens of them. Messages that started friendly and slowly became inappropriate. Comments about Emma's body. Requests to meet privately after practice. Threats, disguised as concern. "If you tell anyone about our special training sessions, you'll lose your spot on the team. You wouldn't want to disappoint your dead father by quitting, would you?" Lisa's hands shook so badly she almost dropped the phone. She took screenshots of everything and drove straight to the police station. Detective Barnes listened to her story and looked at the messages. His face remained professionally neutral. "Mrs. Collins, I understand you're concerned. But these messages, while inappropriate, don't quite cross the legal line for criminal charges." "What do you mean they don't cross the line?" Lisa said, her voice rising. "He's grooming my daughter. He's been calling her in for private sessions after practice. He's manipulating her using her dead father." Detective Barnes sighed. "Without physical evidence of assault or explicit sexual content in the messages, we can't arrest him. I recommend you file a complaint with the school and keep your daughter away from him. That's the best I can offer right now." Lisa drove to Riverside Athletic Center. She demanded to speak with the director, a thin woman named Patricia Morgan who had owned the gym for 20 years. Lisa showed her the messages. Patricia's expression barely changed. "Mr. Hamilton is one of our most respected coaches," she said carefully. "These messages seem like they could be misinterpreted." "Misinterpreted?" Lisa repeated, barely containing her rage. "He's telling my 13-year-old daughter that she's beautiful and asking her to meet him alone. How exactly should I interpret that?" Patricia stood up, signaling the conversation was over. "I'll have a word with Derek about maintaining appropriate boundaries. But I should mention that making unfounded accusations could be considered slander. Mr. Hamilton has many supporters in this community." The unspoken threat was clear. Lisa left that office knowing the system had failed her daughter completely. That night, she did one final desperate thing. At 2 in the morning, unable to sleep and out of options, Lisa posted on a local community Facebook group, "I need help. My 13-year-old daughter is being groomed by her gymnastics coach. I have proof, but the police won't act, and the gym won't fire him. He still works with children every day. The system has completely failed to protect my child. I don't know where else to turn. If anyone has any advice or knows anyone who can help, Please contact me. I'm begging." She posted it and closed her laptop, not expecting anything to come from it. She'd lost faith in people helping when it mattered. Lisa was wrong. Saturday morning arrived cold and gray. Lisa was making coffee when she heard the first motorcycle. The sound was so loud it rattled the windows. She looked outside and saw a single Harley pulling up to their house. Then another appeared. Then 3 more. Within 10 minutes, their quiet suburban street was filled with motorcycles. Men and women in leather vests, covered in patches, were gathering on their front lawn. Lisa recognized the Death's Head logo from news stories. Hell's Angels. Emma came downstairs in her pajamas. "Mom, what's happening? Are we in trouble?" Lisa had no answer. She was as confused as her daughter. A massive man with a gray beard and arms covered in tattoos climbed off his bike. He walked toward their front door with surprising grace for someone so large. His leather vest had patches that clearly marked him as someone important in the motorcycle club. Behind him, more bikes kept arriving. The rumble of engines filled the entire neighborhood. Curtains twitched in nearby houses as neighbors peered out to see what was happening. Lisa's doorbell rang. She took a deep breath and opened it, keeping Emma behind her. The bearded giant spoke in a surprisingly gentle voice. "Mrs. Collins, my name is Axel. I'm president of the Riverside Hells Angels chapter. How do you know who I am?" Lisa managed to ask. "Your post last night was shared in several groups. Word travels fast when someone's asking for help with a kid in danger." Behind him stood at least 40 bikers, and more were still arriving down the street. Lisa's voice trembled. "I don't understand what's happening." Axel spoke calmly. "We're here to support your daughter, ma'am. Everything we do today will be completely legal. Just a show of community support for a child who needs it." He slowly pulled out a business card. James Peterson, licensed electrician. The card listed a legitimate business with a local address. Then Axel said something that made Lisa's eyes widen. "The gymnastics coach bothering your daughter is Derek Hamilton. He works at Riverside Athletic Center on 5th Street. He drives a silver Honda and lives in apartment 212 at the Oakwood complex." "How could you possibly know all that?" Lisa whispered. "Our community pays attention," Axel replied. "When your post was shared, people started talking. Turns out Mr. Hamilton has made other parents uncomfortable too. They were just too scared to speak up because he's well connected in this town." Axel looked down at Emma with kind eyes. "Hey there, young lady. My name's Axel. Nobody's going to hurt you anymore if we have anything to say about it." Emma stared up at the giant biker. She wasn't hiding behind her mother. Something in his voice made her feel safe. A police car rolled slowly down the street. The officer inside, a woman with graying hair, nodded at Axel. He nodded back. This confused Lisa completely. "Officer Martinez knows why we're here," Axel explained. "Her niece was in one of Hamilton's gymnastics classes 2 years ago. He made the girl so uncomfortable she quit. The family complained, but nothing happened." Lisa felt sick. How many victims were there? How long had this been going on while everyone looked the other way? "We're planning a ride through town today," Axel said. "We'll pass by the school, the athletic center, and a few other locations." He didn't specify what those other locations were, but Lisa understood. The message would be clear. "Why would you do this for us?" Lisa asked. "You don't even know us." Pain flickered across Axel's weathered face. "Some of us know exactly what it's like to be a scared kid with nobody standing up for you." Behind him, several bikers nodded. These weren't just tough guys looking for trouble. These were people who understood fear and helplessness from personal experience. A woman biker with silver hair approached, carrying a small package. She smiled warmly at Emma. "We brought you something, sweetheart." Inside was a leather vest sized for a teenager. On the back was a single patch that read "Protected." Axel knelt down to Emma's level. "This is an honorary membership. It means you've got family now. Lots and lots of family who won't let anyone hurt you." Emma touched the vest carefully, as if it might disappear. "Can I really wear this?" "Of course you can," the silver-haired woman said. "I'm Ruby, by the way. I've got a granddaughter about your age. If you ever need to talk to someone who understands, you call me." She handed Emma a card with a phone number. "We brought a motorcycle with a sidecar if your mom says it's okay for you to ride with us," Axel said to Lisa. Emma looked at her mother with hope in her eyes for the first time in months. "Please, Mom." Lisa hesitated only a moment before nodding. "Okay. But you wear a helmet, And you stay right next to Axel. What happened next was something their town would talk about for years. 50 motorcycles formed a procession through the main streets of Riverside. Emma rode in the sidecar next to Axel, wearing her new vest and a helmet decorated with stars. Lisa followed behind in her car, tears streaming down her face as she watched her daughter actually smile. They rode past Riverside Middle School, where teachers and students came outside to watch in amazement. They rode past the athletic center where Derek Hamilton stood in the parking lot, his face going pale as he watched 50 Hells Angels roll past. They rode past the police station where officers came outside and several saluted. They rode past the Oakwood apartment complex and circled it twice. The message was unmistakable to everyone watching. This girl was under protection now. Anyone who wanted to hurt her would have to go through 50 very motivated bikers first. The ride ended at Riverside Park, where someone had set up a massive cookout. Kids from Emma's school showed up with their parents. At first they were nervous around the leather-clad bikers, but that fear melted away quickly when they saw these tough-looking people laughing with children and grilling hamburgers. Emma sat at a picnic table surrounded by classmates for the first time in months. She was actually talking, actually laughing. Lisa watched from a distance, barely believing what she was seeing. Axel found her standing under a tree. "Thank you," Lisa said, her voice breaking. "I still don't fully understand why you're doing this." Axel watched the children playing. "When I was 14, my stepdad used to beat me and my little brother. Everyone knew, but nobody did anything because he was a respected businessman. One day, a biker saw him hitting me in a parking lot. That biker didn't hesitate. He put my stepdad in the hospital and then helped my mom leave him." Axel's hands clenched into fists at the memory. "That biker saved our lives. I joined the club when I turned 18 because I wanted to be the kind of person who steps up when everyone else looks away." "Your husband served in the military, right?" Axel asked suddenly. Lisa was surprised. "How did you know that?" "Half our chapter are veterans, ma'am." Axel pointed to several bikers wearing military patches alongside their Hells Angels colors. "Your husband would have protected his daughter if he was here. We're just standing in his place." Monday morning brought a turning point. Detective Barnes sat in his office looking at new evidence with fresh eyes, while 20 bikers sat quietly in the police station waiting room. 4 more families had come forward over the weekend with complaints about Derek Hamilton. Each story was similar. Inappropriate comments, private training sessions, messages that crossed boundaries. Together, the pattern was undeniable. That afternoon, police obtained a warrant and searched Derek Hamilton's apartment. What they found was enough to arrest him immediately. His laptop contained messages to 6 different underage girls spanning 3 years, all students from his gymnastics classes. 50 motorcycles just happened to be parked across the street when police led Hamilton out in handcuffs. He kept his head down, refusing to look at the bikers watching his arrest. Riverside Athletic Center fired him within hours. Patricia Morgan, the director who had dismissed Lisa's concerns, resigned a week later under pressure from parents threatening to pull their children from the program. Emma didn't heal overnight because trauma doesn't work that way. She still had nightmares. She still struggled with trust. But slowly, week by week, the light started returning to her eyes. She went back to painting. She started talking about the stars again. Every Saturday, a few motorcycles would cruise past their house just checking in. Sometimes Axel would stop and chat with Lisa, while Ruby took Emma for ice cream. 6 months after that first ride, Derek Hamilton stood in court accepting a plea deal. 8 years in prison and permanent registration as a sex offender. He would never work with children again. Outside the courthouse, 50 leather-clad guardians waited on their bikes. They had promised to see this through to the end. Emma ran to Axel when she came out of the courthouse. The massive biker knelt down to receive her hug. "Thank you for saving me," Emma whispered. "You saved yourself by being brave enough to let your mom help you," Axel replied. "We just made sure everyone knew you weren't alone." That evening, Lisa understood something profound. The world isn't always saved by people in uniforms or suits. Sometimes heroes wear leather and ride Harleys. Sometimes the scariest-looking people have the biggest hearts. When her daughter needed protection and the system failed, warriors showed up. Emma kept that protected vest. She wore it on difficult days as a reminder that she had 50 people who would ride into battle for her. She learned that family isn't just blood. Family is whoever shows up when you need them most. And sometimes, when a 13-year-old girl is drowning in fear with nowhere to turn, 50 Hells Angels are exactly what she needs to remember how to breathe again. If you believe bikers are the real heroes protecting our children, subscribe to this channel and show your support. Did this story touch your heart? We want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell us what you think about these incredible bikers who protect the innocent. Your comments help us grow this channel and share more stories that matter. Please take a moment to leave a comment right now. Thank you for watching.